This wonderful floral snowfall is wild garlic or ramsons. One of the few Irish members of the onion family, which is another of those families that belongs in the great subdivision of flowering plants known as the monocotyledons, or monocots for short, where the flowers are characterised by having their floral parts in multiples of 3. There's no sharp distinction between sepals and petals, and the leaves are generally sword-like, or, as in the case of wild garlic, shaped like the head of a spear. An unusual feature of the leaves here is that during the course of development they actually twist upside down, so that what appears to be the upper surface is actually the lower surface of the leaf here. And here are the flowers, 6 tepals, no sharp distinction between petals and sepals, 6 stamens in 2 rows, an inner row of 3 and an outer row of 3, the inner row developing first, one at a time, followed by the outer row. And only when all the pollen has been shed does the style elongate and the stigma becomes receptive. Abundant nectar is secreted by the ovary in 3 notches between the 3 fused carpels, and it gathers in the space between these and the inner 3 stamens. Bumblebees are among the main visitors, though if none turn up, self-fertilization can occur. One of the few great classics of early Irish nature poetry is the strange medieval tale known in English as The Madness of Sweeney, in Irish the Wildflowers, which tells of the adventures of the mad, shape-shifting ex-king, fleeing from one wild place to another in the wildest places in Ireland, subsisting all the while on the produce of the wild. And one of the main foods in his diet was wild garlic, just as it had been in the diet of the early Irish hermit poets, whose poems in praise of places like this, woods carpeted with bluebell and wild garlic and echoing to the singing of their favourite bird, the blackbird, are one of the great treasures of 9th century Ireland. We retain a good deal of confidence in the health-giving properties of garlic today. But our modern confidence is just a residue of the long list of more specific uses targeted at a wide variety of particular complaints in bygone days, for asthma and lung complaints, toothache, earache and headache, circulatory disorders, colds and chilblains, nerve complaints and the bites of mad dogs, and as a general antiseptic. It gave protection against witches and vampires. In China, it was used to treat leprosy. In ancient Egypt, an extra ration of garlic was given to labourers working on the pyramids to keep their strength up. So it's hardly surprising that there was such an interest in wild garlic as a wild food in an earlier Ireland. In fact, in the 7th century law texts, there's reference to a special spring garlic feast at which wild garlic was consumed along with cheese and milk and probably with bread. And it might not be a bad idea, in view of our lockdown-inspired reawakening of interest in foods of the wild, to revive the crème fraiche, the garlic feast. I like to imagine that this might have been one of the places where the crème fraiche was celebrated. This is the great fort of Moylena, outside Birr, whose actual history, in the absence to date of archaeological investigation, only informed imagination can conjure out of the mists of its forgotten past.